All right, minor region recap. It's here. We've got lots to cover today. So wildcard make a change, Juiced Bandits make a change. Basically, wildcard disband, Juiced Bandits pick up a player from wildcard. His name's Sicky, former, he's an OCE MVP. He's at the top of the scene for a while. The Juiced Bandits, they take out Zaid, put in Sicky. That team could look dangerous in the spring split. And wildcard, they're just completely gone. So Caveman Ben and Mock need to find new teams. Mock has already found a new team in the Kibbles, Ghost and Vixen there. And then the biggest news is that Kansas City Pioneers acquired Forkidden prior to the event. So them lower bracket boys, Super Lucky, Banana Hand, and Scrub get picked up by KCP. It's great to see more org representation in OCE. And then obviously Eclipse also acquired a baby, which is Lunar, Lurky, and Morse. So another org joining the scene. Take a look at groups. Everything looks pretty normal, I would argue, because Pioneers and Dire Wolves are not group toppers. They are lower bracket boys. Okay, they like to make the run through the lower bracket, gain all the momentum going through. And we take a look at the lower bracket, the playoff brackets here. That lower round 2, Kibbles and Pioneers right here. This was insane.
Super Lucky looking for a shot. It's off the crossbar. It's off the crossbar. It's not a goal. KCP again. They score. No, it's off the crossbar again. Oh, the Kibbles hold up. Can he beat out more? No. It's straight down to Scrub.
Scrub has Super Lucky as well across the middle. Season on the line right here. Here goes Banana Head. And the Pioneers survive the Kibbles to stay alive in our third regional.
And it's not celebration here for KCP. It is a sigh of relief. They just hold on at the end. They take it.
Now we get into like the lower quarters where like Riot Gaming get knocked out like they normally do in playoffs, and they get beat by the team from the lower bracket. It's something they're plagued by it being in the lower bracket. I don't get it. KCP just stomped them. And then the biggest here, the biggest storyline here is if Dire Wolves had beaten Team Bliss here, Pioneers versus Dire Wolves would have been the final spot for the major. And that would have been a crazy series. But Team Bliss, ice up for the KCP boys.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Hold on.
Kill
and so, allowed them to qualify for the winter major, basically. Really great series here as well. Very close, but Team Bliss come out on top. Then they obviously subsequently, lose. Renegades looked really solid in this tournament. There was a couple mishaps here where like it probably didn't need to go to game 7. Like the OT here, they're all one goal games that they lose. And then when Ground Zero get knocked down, they stomp KCP. They look like Ground Zero from the fall split, basically. And they definitely look Ground Zero from the fall split, because when they make it back to the grand final, they take down Renegades in a bracket reset and a game 7 bracket reset series as well. So great series overall. Like Renegades were on the rope a couple times, Ground Zero were on the ropes a couple times, and they pulled it out. They weren't playing for a major spot, but they still managed to step up their level of competition to show that the depth in OCE is not going anywhere. So that's OCE. And like I said, your two teams going to the winter major are Renegades and Pioneers. We head on over to Asia Pacific South, and this region, I'd say I might be able to predict with my eyes closed. You pick 3 rats to take it the whole way. No real big upsets, I feel like, other than maybe Moon Boots losing to Frost Esports in lower round 2 there. Moon Boots usually make it, I think, top 6. Dark Rift is definitely looking like the second best team after these last 2 regionals. They took a 6th place spot, I believe, in Regional 1, whereas has been more consistent in those like top level placements. So maybe heading to the spring split, Dark Rift will kind of step up their play and take over that 2nd spot from Yeah, but never bet against 3 rats. They're insane. They look really great as always. And big news for them, their players tweeted out the stereotypical GIF on Twitter where you say it's official and stamp it. They might get signed to an org before the APAC qualifier comes through. So 3 rats and are your 2 teams that qualified for the APAC qualifier. That's Asia Pacific South wrapped up for you guys. We head to Middle East North Africa. and we're taking a look at the groups, and Sandrock is doing Sandrock things. They look great. Anka actually take down Sights. Like, if I had to pick a team to upset what I believe to be the top 4 in another group, I'd say Anka is that team. If I had to rank them, I'd go like Sandrock, Sights, Falcons, and then Ultimates and Anka honestly could be like 4th, 5th, like tied. So it just kind of depends on who gets that second good team, quote unquote, in their group. So going down to the lower rounds here, Sights actually lose in lower round 2, and something interesting to see here, Scythe actually had to sub in for Fahad here in the playoffs, and I'd say Fahad's definitely their best player. So maybe that's something that happened here where they lose their best player. They have to play with their sub, who they played with in last split, but it's not the same here. So they get a 7th, 8th place here, which isn't terrible, but it's definitely not what Sights wants going forward. Other than that, everything's pretty standard, like Sandrock beating the Ultimates. Falcons sweeping Anka is like pretty solid from them. I would expect this series to go a little bit longer, but Anka bounced back in the lower bracket and eventually lose to the Ultimates in the lower semis, and then Sandrock make it to the grand final. So then AMS, Sezonix, and M7 make it to the grand final after beating Falcons, only to lose to Sandrock pretty much basically in the grand final. Good for them. They're, still getting those reps in against every team, showing that like the depth from like 2 through 5 is definitely there to like any team could challenge Sandrock in the grand final, but it's going to be tough to officially knock them off. Sights had the best chance last regional, and they did not live up to the hype in the end. They got swept and, bracket reset there. But yeah, that's Middle East, North Africa. Sandrock, they've already qualified for Worlds. Not even like just the Winter Major. They have already qualified for Worlds, which is just wild. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. This is a minor region recap. Going to be doing these pretty frequently just to kind of fill you guys in on what's going on around the world. But that being said, this has been RLCS Spotlight, and I'll see you guys in the next one, okay? Peace.